Hi, so I'm Kaylee Dowd and today we're at the lovely Lindome Lakes. I love this venue and it's one that I've fished for many years, to be honest. It's where I first started learning the ropes, doing open matches, and I've come on a lot since then, I'd like to say myself. But today we're going to do a bit of jigger fishing. So with jigger fishing there's a lot of different ways to go about it, a lot of different baits to use. So hopefully if you watch this video you'll pick up a few tips and watch me catch a few fish along the way. So I'll run you through the rigger a little bit later, but my main aim today is to show you what baits we can use when jigger fishing. And how to go about using them. So at the minute I'm just on maggots. So maggots, casters, pellets, bit of slop ground bait. Feed down these edges because they do come shallow down. These edges a bit later on. We'll go back out. So as I said, the main bait that I'm using at the minute is maggots. So it's always best just to check if there's a tackle shop on site or somebody to get in contact with, or keeping up on Facebook or all like that, what's the in bait at that moment, because it does change and sometimes it'll be maggots, sometimes casters, sometimes pellets. As the days change and the pressure changes, all like that, the baits change. So I know at the minute it's maggots and casters, so I had some maggots with me. But they seem to be catching a lot of small fish at the minute, which shows me that there's not many F1s there, to be honest. But it is early on, so we've just got to keep that bait going in and keep feeding. There we go, put that back on. If they do come too much of a pest, we'll change over to pellets. So it's a dead simple way of fishing, is a jigger, and it is literally a piece of line with some shot on with a little float with a hole in the middle. It's as basic as they come. As I said, we'll run you through that a little bit later, but the whole point of the jigger is to look through the upper layers of the water. So as when shallow fishing, you're at a fixed depth, so your float's fixed and doesn't move, so you're constantly fishing at the same depth. So if the fish aren't at that depth when you're shallow fishing, then obviously you're not going to catch them if they're not feeding at that depth. Whereas when you're jigger fishing, you have a length of line, you usually have a 2 or 3 set up, so you might have one at 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, and it's just about searching that bit of water in between. So you can lift your float up, and then when you lower it down, the weight of the, nearly had a bite then, the weight on the line actually pulls the line down, and you lower it down at whatever speed you want to go. So as you lower it down and then give it a little flick, your hook line flicks up and then falls back down naturally. So you're flicking up and falling back down naturally. So every time I pull a little flick, my hook bait flicks up, and then you leave it a few seconds and it falls down. Got another roach on there. So it's a great way of mimicking what's going on with your actual maggots. So they're just falling through water. Keep that constant, as when you're shallow fishing, just keep that constant bait going through. So at the minute I'm just ducking a couple of maggots. If I get another small fish, I am going to change onto pellets. But there we go, I'm just literally hooking the maggots. You can band them or hook them, it don't make too much difference. People have personal preferences. Just feed these. Oh, Paul's going. There we go. It's all about just searching through that column of water that you think the fish are going to be in. Usually start a bit deeper and then come shallower if you're, say, missing bites. You might foul up the odd one. If you foul up them, then obviously you're too deep, and just keep coming that bit shallower. So go down and have a flick with the pole. Just lift it and drop, and it's just moving that hook bait, searching that water and looking for them fish to come. I say you can get through some bait when you're doing this, so make sure you've got plenty on your side tray. Just keep lifting and dropping, flicking it, hold it a bit, lower it down slowly. As you lower it, obviously your bait lowers, lift it up and drop it back through, and just keep repeating that. And then when you do get a bite, they'll literally just pull the elastic out of the end of the pole. It's not what we want with these little roach though, so I've got to switch over to pellets. So because I'm just hooking the maggots on that one, I'm going to fish a hard pellet. So I've got another rig here. It's a bit deeper is this rig, just in case they're a bit deeper. Got a hard pellet and a band there. We'll go out and see if we can catch one on pellets. Just don't forget to keep feeding these edges with the hope that they'll come down there a bit later. Yeah, if you do have deep margins, it can be a really good place to catch fish because there's a nice bit of cover down here, as with here. They're quite deep margins, got a lot of reed cover, and the fish do tend to sit down here. And if you keep that constant trickle of bait going in, the fish naturally come up looking for more. So you do catch shallow down there. But for now, I know there's a lot of fish out there, a lot of little fish at the minute, so I'll just keep trickling these 4mm pellets in the hope of catching an F1. There's a few carp in here as well, but the F1s are lovely, massive big F1s. Once you get on a shoal of them, you know about it. I have also got some slop, so slop is a really good bait when there's mainly F1s like it. It's just crushed expander made into a sloppy ground bait basically, and it makes a lovely cloud and puts a lot of particle in the water. And I think the scent of it draws fish in, brings them up looking into the cloud, and basically because there's no other bait there apart from your slop, your bait stands out really well. So when there's loads of fish in the lakes, this can be really good. Used to fish it on here a lot of years ago. I haven't fished it for a little while, but it can still be really good on its day. It's all about just keeping that bait going in. It does get a bit messy, does slop, but it can be deadly. So as I said with maggots, exactly the same with pellets. Just keep flicking the tip of your pole, letting your pellet fall down and just flicking it up, and that little bit of movement just attracts the attention of any fishing area and you get a bite. But first you've got to draw the fish in. That's the hardest part. Once they're there, they're easy to catch. Just keep it all smooth, keep that line going up and down. You'll find the right depth for them. Keep on that rig and you should have a lovely day's fishing. But as with anything, it's about getting them there first. So just keep that constant trickle of bait. If you don't put any bait in, then the fish aren't going to be looking for it. Little and often, as we always say, keeps the fish up in the water, rooting round, and that's where we want to catch them. Oh. There we go. Like I say, once they're moving, that's it, you catch a few. There we go, feels like a nice F1. Putting up a bit of a... Yep. There we go. Lovely size fish in these lakes. They aren't half, come on. Look at that. Doesn't take many of them to build up a weight. See that maggot's still in his mouth. There we go. Put him in net. Might have a picture with him later, if I'm lucky. Oh, there we go. So back out. Same again. Just hooking a couple of maggots. Not special. Keep it nice and simple. Always catch more fish that way. It's all about keeping that bait going in. So back out to where we were. Some maggots in my catapult. And there we go. Right round float, where we want them. And jig away. There. Oh. There we go, that's another one. On the maggots again. Definitely does seem the bait when we can get through them smaller fish. Looks like a nice chunky one again. It's coming in nicely. There's a little bit of movement down these margins as well, so I think the odd fish is starting to creep in. Look at that. See, maggot's just hanging out at the corner of his mouth. Nice chunky one. There we go. Some done. I like catching them. A bit smaller than others, but they're all more than welcome. So we'll leave that there now and I can show you at rig. If you want to have a look. So I've got 13 hybrid elastic, so it's set nice and soft. Like I say, there's some carp in here, and if we are going to be fishing down these edges, last thing you want is for them to be running ragged through there. So nice, strong elastic. Probably get away with an 11 this time of year, but like I say, I don't want to get snagged. Pull them round, open water as well, you get away with 11, but I'm opting for a 13. Give me that bit more power, keep the fish under control. So as with main line, got a 019 power line on here, really robust. It lasts me the whole session, and if not longer, to be honest. If you think of the amount of times the line's going to be going over the net when you're landing fish, if you've got lighter line on, then chances are you might end up breaking it in the end. Whereas with this, I don't have to worry one little bit about that. It's more like tow rope than all else. You're not gonna damage it. Very good line. Then, as you can see, that's my little jigger. So this is a 46mm, so the lightest one we've got, and that just slides up and down the line. So I have got a stop at the top. Some fisheries have length of line rules, so that just helps with that. So the float will go no higher than there. And then all my shot is down at the bottom, so I've just got a bulk of number 8, so I want it down and be able to control my hook length. So here I've got a pre-tied, just a pre-tied GPM. One of these, so it's size 16 or 13, and it's on a band. So no more fiddling about trying to tie bands on, because we all know they're a nightmare. They now come pre-tied, which is perfect for all of us. And then here, it's got a little swivel with a quick release little sleeve underneath, just to change my hook length if needed. And it also adds as an extra dropper. So yeah, that's my rig. Nice and simple. That's set at 24 inch, so 2 foot, and that's all we need for now anyway. So we've got quite a few fish on the long pole out there using maggots, and to be honest, I've been loose feeding me maggots down these both margins, and it looks lovely for it. I'm just starting to see odd reeds starting to knock, an odd little sign that there's fish there, to be honest. There's a little roach there at the minute, so I thought now's a good time, a few hours in, just to have a quick look. Not saying it's going to work just yet, but when you're seeing signs and there's fish there, they're obviously starting to think about it. So exactly the same as what I was doing out on the long line. Same rig and everything. And just loose feeding a few maggots, just enough to keep them interested on edge of these reeds. And hopefully it won't be long before we're connecting with a few of them nice F1s that this lake's known for. So exactly the same, just still on the jigger, so let me bait fall, flick it up, fall. There is odd little fish still here, but once them F1s move in, I'm sure we'll catch them. On these deep margins, I've had loads of big weights on these lakes, or these sort of lakes. It's deep in edge, got a bit of cover. The fish love to live around there, to be honest. And the more that you loose feed, the more that it attracts them when they come up. Want to get away from these little fellas though, to be honest. I might start throwing a few pellets down, see if that makes a difference. Could have done with some casters on my side tray, but in hindsight, it's always a great idea. For now, we'll just persevere with maggots, couple on the hook. Just keep that loose feed going in both edges, throwing them up the reeds. Don't have to go too far out, especially when there's a lot of cover like this. There we go, just a few maggots over the top. We're into a roach already. It's not what we want. I'll give it one more go, if not, I'm going to go back out on that long line, catch a few more, keep these primed, and then hopefully next time we visit, they'll be ready. Feed all day, every day. Little windows, just got to make most of them little opportunities to get. Happy have with this one. That is a lovely fish. Let's take a look out. There we go. Hold it up. Look at that. Yeah. Chunky little F1s they are. Just keep loose feeding some maggots. Just started seeing odd indication and that at reeds twitching. So there's definitely a few moving down there now. Just a case of waiting for them to get on feed and making most of them. Couple of maggots on hook. Like I say, it has been a bit of a pain with them smaller silverfish, but when them F1s are there, them silvers won't get a look in, so just got to keep feeding, hope for the best, and winkle a few F1s out, which I'm sure we will, in between these roach. I've had a few perch as well, to be fair. Had a nice one. Oh. Nice big perch. There we go. Back out, just get a few maggots down there. Bring it round back of these reeds and just lower it down and just jig my rig. Oh, there we go. What did I say? When they're moving, they're moving. Starting to push them roach out. Obviously we had that one just before. We had an F1 roach and then another F1. It's getting that time of day. Soon it'll be more F1, roach and so on, and then once they come, that's it. Just like I said, we'll push them out and that's all we'll catch. I wouldn't be surprised to go back in now and get another couple of roach and then a couple of F1s. It's just starting to turn on. Just got to make most of it when they're there. Especially in a match situation, that's 2 fish for what? £5, £6? Even pleasure fishing. It's nice. And all in space of a couple of minutes, if that. You can see how they do them big weights, just keep ticking over, persevering, have confidence in what you're doing. That's one of the main things. If you're confident they're going to come, they will. That's what I like to think anyway. So we're going now. Hope and pray for an F1. Just keep drip feeding them maggots in. But like I say, I won't be surprised now if I do get a couple of roach. I won't be surprised, but then I reckon we'll get an F1 and then it'll just start being more F1s. I've just kept them maggots going in. A few in reeds, you can see them knocking. They feel more confident in reeds. We'll just fish on edge of them. See, not loads of maggots. Just keep tricking in. Just nicked one of my maggots. Just shove another one back on. There. Do a little lift up. They're just attracted to that movement on bait. Just lift up and let it drop. If you drop your weight, it's just going to flutter down as the maggots behind it. But when they're there, they're stacked up, it can literally be drop in, catch one, drop in, catch one. That's what we're hoping for. Shove a couple more maggots on. You can band them. Some people like to band the maggots. I prefer just ducking them most of the time, unless I'm going to swap between hard pellet and casters or maggots, then I will put a band on because I can band my maggots and I can band a pellet as well. So if I'm going to use the same rig, I put a band on. I just plan on using maggots, I'll just hook them. Just keep persevering. I'm not getting as many small fish now, which is a good sign. Them F1s will probably come in and push them out. Like I say, the big fish, so we just take us time and there we go. That's what we wanted. We knew there were one there. Like I say, we'd stopped catching as many roach. We'd see odd reed twitching, and these are the culprits. And smaller fish don't get a look in when these are about, and that's what we were waiting for. Nice F1s. And there's some in area, I keep seeing odd tail. It's dead shallow at the back of these reeds, but the fish get in there. There's no way I can target them in there. So I'm just fishing on edge of them. And when one swims in or out, that's it, they're mine. Eat my maggots, fish. Had a lovely day, to be honest. Caught plenty of F1s. It has been a bit tricky. I've had a bit frustrating with the small fish, but it's just got stronger and stronger as the day's gone on, which is to be expected. Now, as I say, there's odd fish moving in here, so got to be patient. Oh, that's not what we wanted. He wasn't wanted. Come back on the canal fish. Lovely fish to catch on canal, but not what we wanted at the minute. Well, there's some nice big juicy F1s down there. There, that's what we wanted. A nice F1. To be honest, I think this is going to be a lovely fish to end this session with you guys. I right enjoyed it. Nice big F1s. Early season, catching them down the edge on maggot, and look at that. That is a lovely fish. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Make sure you obviously like and subscribe and watch all the other ones. And until next time, I will see you then with a great big F1 in my hand. Thanks a lot. See you later.